Historic day yesterday, at least for some government agencies, with CZ on American soil in court, pleading guilty to money laundering charges. Wellchart reporting the following: just in, the government is seeking an 18-month prison sentence for Binance co-founder CZ. I had read somewhere that it's a maximum sentence of 18 months. I gotta believe they would have negotiated that before he showed up in court. That would be the important part of the whole thing to me, not how many billions I got to keep. At least if I got one, that's fine. I want to know how much time I'm going to have to do. He'll be sentenced in 2 weeks, so we'll find out then, I guess. But CZ was released on a $175 million bond. He can go ahead and return to Dubai, but he'll be back here again in 2 weeks. Now, this is a little bit different from what I read. This article is reporting by the New York Times, actually, that prosecutors are open to slapping him with a longer sentence, and generally his violation of the Bank Secrecy Act carries an 18-month sentence. They may go for more. I'll believe it when I see it. I suspect to probably get some house arrest or something, minor like that. But, this is some serious stuff. We're talking money laundering, terror financing, organized crime. It's not small by any means, so I could see him going to jail. At the end of the day, pretty good deal for him, isn't it? He gets to keep the vast majority of his wealth, gets to keep his company. He just can't be CEO any longer, at least acting in title. So, again, not an awful deal for CZ. Pretty graceful exit for everything he was facing. Now, this is really where it gets interesting. We see this big press release, this historic press release by the DOJ. $4 billion fine, 4.3, I think exactly. They're sharing the limelight, both in the release and on stage with the Department of the Treasury. We saw Janet Yellen up there, the OFAC, the CFTC. In this report, they even credit the IRS. Who don't you see? Who isn't included in this big event? The SEC, they're not even mentioned. Gary Gensler was not on stage. Makes me wonder if there's a rift here. Did Gary Gensler and the SEC, did they jump the gun when the DOJ really wanted to hold back a little bit? When they wanted to wait? Did Gary Gensler charge out and go after CZ preemptively and, cause some squabble here? Or is it just the fact they have an ongoing litigation, so they just didn't invite them to this event? I don't know. It kind of makes it a moot point at this time. The SEC is like a fly. You think you would have just included your case here with the DOJ and settled out and got some big payoff here. Some of those fines and penalties allocated to you. That would make sense. That's not what we saw. Gary Gensler can really take a lesson here. You see what the DOJ did. They didn't want some huge court case with Binance's top attorneys having to go argue in court. They came up with a resolution that was harsh, that was severe, that both parties could live with, and they settled it out and got the win. Something that Gary Gensler seems incapable of doing time and time again. And he really snatches defeat out of the jaws of victory because of that. Stuart Alderati saying the following: the Binance resolution of anti-money laundering violations is a necessary step to bring the crypto industry into compliance. So again, I see a lot of people calling CZ a hero. I remember when Binance was launched, he really did build a behemoth out there, but, he's doing a lot of stuff he shouldn't have been doing. You knew this day was going to become. I don't think he's a hero, and I think this was a necessary step, unfortunately. It had to happen, and we knew it was going to happen, and actually everything ended up better for crypto in general, Binance the company, and CZ than could have been expected. This really could have been a disaster for everyone. We see Stewart saying the following: nowhere does the DOJ suggest that Binance committed security law violations. So that's not in their little report here, is it? They're not saying they broke any securities laws, even though Gary Gensler likes to invent new laws. The Treasury, CFTC joined the DOJ in the Binance deal. The SEC did not. So again, he's pointing out what I said. Their glaring absence from the stage. No Gary Gensler, no mention of their hard work and what they're doing. He says the SEC is like a petulant child who can't stand being ignored. And this also is why I think there's a rift. At the same time that DOJ press conference came out, they tweeted out their announcement of their Kraken lawsuit, trying to steal a little bit of the limelight, like anyone's going to pay attention to them when you have this monstrous case being actually settled and accomplishing something, right? That's the point. Bring them into compliance. Levy fines and penalties, change the behavior. That's what the DOJ did. That ain't what Gary Gensler's doing, is it? He's not doing anything but wasting everyone's time. We'll look at the cryptocurrency market. holding up pretty strong. Way stronger than we could have expected. I'm telling you, a lot of people tell me I'm wrong. Not trading advice, not financial advice. But personally, I would worry about BNB. Because you got to remember, they have all sorts of agreements here. They have monitoring. They're going to have government agencies all up in their business around the clock for the next 3 years. The things that they can do with BNB are going to be severely affected. I would expect a lot of that liquidity to go away, a lot of the action to go away. And personally, myself, I'm worried about the value of BNB. Even though, again, crypto's holding up pretty well, BNB itself, to me, is a concern. Even though right now, pretty strong, 235 and 66 cents. We'll have to see how it plays out. See this argument here. Are Bitcoin ETFs good for adoption or water down crypto? Some are concerned the industry is moving away from the core promise of cryptocurrencies. And it's true to a large extent. I mean, we're talking about, no longer holding your keys. You have a custodian. A lot of the value of crypto goes away in a situation like this. But this isn't the be-all, end-all for everyone. You and I, crypto enthusiasts that, invest direct and use cryptocurrencies and actually leverage the technology, this ain't for us. This is for the hedge funds, the endowment funds, the pension plans, the billionaires that want to stuff away millions and millions of dollars that need a custodian to do it safely and efficiently and compliantly. They need this type of thing. So absolutely, ETFs are going to take this asset class to the next level. And for those that it's appropriate for, great. They can use that tool where before they just couldn't get involved in crypto. For the rest of us that want to hold it direct, that want to use it, that want to leverage it for all that it's worth, great, we can still do that. It doesn't stop us. That's why crypto is so good. I don't care if you're BlackRock, the United States, or China. You can't stop this revolution. Nothing stops us from going forward. You can't stop progress. Grayscale, things are looking good. They're meeting with the SEC. Might we be closer than I've been saying on a Bitcoin ETF? I'm still worried. They have to really work to separate custody from the exchange transactions, but maybe not. Maybe we're going to get sweeping approvals here on this round. Worst case scenario, they kick it down for one more cycle, another 6 months or something like that. But we'll find out soon enough. I think the final deadline comes in July, if not February of next year. So at least a lot of people thinking it might get done. Lastly, we see another court case against Kraken. They name all of these coins that are supposedly securities. Of course, they don't tell us why they might be securities, what's wrong with their offerings. But anyway, we see XRP is not on the list. And that's really bullish. I think heading into the next bull run, a judge has stated as a fact of law, XRP is not a security. And that puts it a couple levels higher than other cryptocurrencies that may be in question. By the way, I don't think any of your major cryptos are a security in any way. But, a lot of people are going to have to wonder. They've been naming cryptos in these lawsuits. Is there going to be regulatory problems as we continue forward? Let me know what you think down below. And as always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.